Welcome back to Pure Science Education. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all the subscribers to the channel. So, today we will be looking at the ecosystem. The ecosystem is where the living and the non-living organisms interact with each other. As you can see, we have got an animal and plant on the left hand side, which will interact with the non-living organism, the sunlight and soil. The interaction takes place for the survival of the organism. So, if you were to look at the ecosystem, they can be small, medium, or large in size. An example of a small ecosystem will be a puddle. Puddle where we got very little water will interact with the snail that is living in there. It forms an ecosystem. If you look at a rainforest, that is an example of a large ecosystem because it has a large biodiversity and different animals and plants. Did you know Earth is also a large ecosystem? In Earth is full of living organisms which interact with the non-living organisms and things. So in an Earth you will have organisms with different habitats on the ground, in the ground and above the ground. So all of them makes a different ecosystem. What we're going to do is look at two different types of ecosystem today. The first ecosystem I'm focusing on is a desert. A desert ecosystem is found in a desert biome. In a desert biome, you will have a special type of animal and plants. Now, because in a desert it's very little rain and it's very dry, the animal and plant you find here are very specific. For example, cactus has spiky leaves and has spongy leaves. They store the water in it. The camel has a hump that stores water too. The animals in this environment will have food that provide them with the water. So there are special features for adaptation if you're living in a specific ecosystem. Let's look at a totally different type of ecosystem. This time we're going to look at a tropical rainforest. A tropical rainforest, in contrast to a desert, has totally different features. In a tropical rainforest, there is a variety of plants and animals and a large biodiversity of animals. In this rainforest, you will find lots of rainfall throughout the year, so there is no lack of water as it was in the desert. The soil is also really moist because of the rain and throughout the year, but the only thing is the soil will lack nutrients. Do you know why? The reason why the soil is lacking nutrients is because there's a large variety of plants and animals that will take the nutrients from the soil. Now, there is another feature that is different for a tropical rainforest. Although similar to a desert, the environment is always really warm in a rainforest. Now, this makes it really special for the type of animal and plants that will survive in this atmosphere. So, for example, a snake in a rainforest will be rather large in size because it will have a lot of food to eat throughout the year in comparison to a snake you may find in a dry place. Let's look at how the ecosystem is. So, did you know there is two different types of ecosystems? So let's look at an example of them. So, ecosystem can be split into terrestrial, which is land-based, for example a mountain, or aquatic, which is water-based. We can then subdivide the aquatic ecosystem into freshwater or marine. Now, in aquatic ecosystem, the animals within the ecosystem eat each other for their survival, which is slightly different to the terrestrial based ecosystem. So just to summarize, ecosystem is an environment where living and non-living organisms are interacting with each other. It can vary in size from small, medium or large. Depending on the type of ecosystem, you will have different animals and plants which will then adapt for their survival in these ecosystems. Thank you for listening.